Hola mi gente, it's Gameboy Zero and I'm excited to talk about the Analogue Pocket today. I got my Waterloo today, I got my boy Chucky. Vamos, let's go. Hey, really quick, if you like my content, please do me a favor and like and subscribe and hit that bell for notifications on my uploads. I finally hit 1,800 subscribers. And I thank every one of you for making that happen. Thank you so much. I'm always doing reviews. I'm doing Let's Plays now. I'm even developing my own Game Boy game for the Game Boy. Speaking of, if you can't tell by now, I love the Game Boy. I spoke about it in my last video, but I never really expanded on it. Every time I bring out a Game Boy at a party or in public, people freak out and they immediately begin to reminisce and think about the time when they were kids and they played the Game Boy. It happens every time. It's iconic. So the Game Boy and we have a very long relationship. Where is my Game Boy, by the way? Bro, where the heck did I put it? Oh, here it is. So the Game Boy and I have a very long relationship. Let me put this down. Take a sip. I started playing with the Game Boy when I was about 5 years old. My uncle would allow me to play with his Game Boy, but I know very well that he was letting me play so that he can go and play his NES. David, don't think I don't know your tricks. But hey, I'm grateful. I spent hours playing Tetris and Spider-Man 3, which so happens to be the worst game ever on the Game Boy. As an adult, I tried to take a trip down memory lane to play Spider-Man 3, thinking I might beat it because I'm older, I'm wiser, I'll figure it out. No. It's a horrible game. I can barely get past the second level, maybe the third level. Oh, but Tetris. Oh, I don't think there's a game more universally loved than Tetris. And fast forward to where I turned 12 years old and I received my first Game Boy. It was a Game Boy Pocket, not this exact one. I had a yellow one, but it was one just like this. And it came with Jurassic Park 2, which if you've never played Jurassic Park 2, it's a great platformer with an amazing soundtrack. After that, my next adventure was with the Super Game Boy. It was an SNES cartridge, which you would put in the SNES. And if you had a Game Boy, you simply insert it and play your Game Boy games on the television. The only game I actually played on it was Pokemon Red, and I actually beat it on the SNES and not the Game Boy. One of the best things about having a Game Boy was its cartridges, and they came in different sizes and different colors, especially if you had a Game Boy Color. It had like the little bubbly thing on it. Some of them were transparent, and some of them were yellow, just like this one or even the Donkey Kong one. Well, here we are now. We're older. It's 2023, and everything is in HD, and games have truly evolved. So with that said, is there life after Game Boy? Well, on October 2019, Analogue decided that there was life after Game Boy, and they announced the Analogue Pocket and plan to release it in 2020. They promised dock TV support, up to 4 controller support via Bluetooth, pocket-to-pocket multiplayer support, including trading Pokemon. It could play Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance, and all in crispy HD. Beautiful, crispy pixels. Their designs, flawless, super sharp, and it came in black and a white version. And now they announced a glow-in-the-dark version, and it's available for pre-order this Friday. The promises they made? Amazing. The follow-through? Not so much. Their original release date of 2020 slowly crept into 2021, and all the people that pre-ordered it slowly were getting annoyed. Finally, they would ship in December of 2021. In waves. Another wave is being shipped now. We're almost at the end of 2023. Some annoyed, some excited. So if you're finally getting your Analogue Pocket, I congratulate you, mainly on your patience, but mostly on your brand new tech. Now that we got the ugly out of the way, let's talk about the good. We might not love Analogue Pocket for their follow-through or their customer service, but we can definitely love them for taking something old and making it new again. For example, I have the first Analogue NT. It has real Famicom and NES parts inside of it, and it's encased in straight up aluminum, flawless wiring, and fully HD. I love this one because there's only 300 of its kind, and it has the old school Analogue logo, so it feels like I have a piece of history. The Analogue Pocket feels the same way. When you hold one, you just can't help but feel the quality behind it. So here I have the black one, but it's covered in a custom wrap that I designed in collaboration with Slick Wraps. Once you turn it on, you're greeted with the logo. Mine has the option to play carts and ROMs, but we'll focus today on the real deal. So let's bring out the collection and try some games. When you start a game, right away you're going to notice how vibrant the colors are. Let's try this one today. Zelda, Oracle of Seasons. We'll go ahead and play cartridge, and there you go. When you start a game right away, you'll notice how vibrant the screen is. You'll have a few shaders to choose from. Let's try some out. I'll bring it closer to you so you can see. And there you go. Look how gorgeous that looks. And if we hold down the analog button and press right, we'll go into the original GBC LCD mode, which is not as vibrant, but one thing you'll notice is that you'll get to see every little pixel. Let me see if I can bring it closer to you. Can you see them? Now let's compare it to the other one. Definitely a difference in vibrance, and you don't see the pixels as much as when you're in the original Game Boy Color mode. Quitting is pretty easy too. If you press the analog button, you have the option to quit game. You can get game details. You can save your games without using the actual cartridge itself, and there are other tools and settings as well. Why don't we try an original Game Boy game? We talked about Tetris earlier, so why don't we try Tetris? Here we have it. All right, let's get ready to play. And what I love about this is it actually has the original DMG feel. Like look how green it is. It's so green. Even with my wrap here, it just looks perfect. To me, this is the way a Game Boy should look. That's as close as I can get. But I think you can see it. It looks pretty sharp. Here we have it in analog mode. And it's a green of sorts. It's not a perfect green, but if we hold down the analog, we'll go to the original Game Boy DMG. We'll go to the original Game Boy player. We'll go into GBP light mode, which is reminiscent of the Game Boy Light, if you remember that. We'll go into Pinball Neon Matrix, which reminds me of the Virtual Boy. When it comes to the options of gameplay, it's pretty cool. The volume itself gets really high. Let's bring it up. And this is me talking next to it normally. It can get up there. And when you're done playing, you simply press the power button, which is this nice little green neon button, and put it to sleep. And that's it. Now let's try some Game Boy Advance game. You already know I'm a Zelda fan. So wake. And let's press play. And right away you can see how colorful it is. And then like before, if we hold down the analog button, we'll get different shaders. Got the original GBA SP101. And we got the original GBA LCD, which is not as crispy. The difference is mainly the SP101 and the original GBA. You can see the pixels a little sharper, while the analog is just smooth pixels. And if we really want to get fancy, we can watch some Sonic X for kids' entertainment. There's so much you could do on the Analogue Pocket, but I wanted to focus on its core purpose, and that's the Game Boy. Companies like Analogue Pocket revive the joy of collecting. It makes us remember the old box in our attic or our basement with all our video games stored away. When I received this, I was excited to collect Game Boy games again. Now it's your turn. Did you get your hand on an Analogue Pocket? Are you planning on getting one? Are you gonna get the glow-in-the-dark one that's coming out soon? I don't even want to know what the shipment time is on that thing. Hey, I appreciate you so much. I'll see you in the next video. Vamos, let's go.
You just had the absolute nostalgic pleasure of watching Game Boy Zero. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And don't forget to ring that bell button for notifications on his latest uploads.